Well, I'm Priscilla. I've been a character artist for over 10 years now. I started doing a lot of indie development. I worked on a mobile game. I worked on a MMO game. It was like an RPG MMO. I've done character art for a commercial actually as well, and a pilot for a TV show. So when you begin to stylize your character, you have to know what are the choices that you're going to make? Like, how are you going to break real anatomy? I want to break real anatomy by having this guy have a gorilla upper body where his knuckles drag on the floor. This is a conscious choice you're making. So you're going to build a body that has the volume to support that, and then you're going to exaggerate those shapes to achieve the look that you want. Um, this style typically has a medium and selective level of detail, right? When you look at the Final Fantasy characters or like the Dragon Age Veilguard characters. Also, I've been playing Expedition 33. It's so good. It's fantastic. I'm like obsessed with it. But so the level of detail that they show is selective. They're not showing you every pore. They're not showing you every little detail. It's depending on when you want to showcase. Like a lot of you guys play Bloodborne, which I don't. And I was looking at some images, but the graphics are a little dated, so I didn't want to put them in here. But like for them, they're like focusing on the detail that they're doing isn't like making the characters, I feel like, look more like drained and haunted, right? So their textures are a little bit more detailed. They're still not showing hyper realistic pores, but that is the stylistic choice they're going. So as far as rearranging the topology, we did this with the little seedling. So right now I'm looking at the mesh. This is what it looks like. Once I have the volumes the way I like them, I want to start going in and giving them topology that will be better for adding detail animation so things are not stretched out and weird. So what to keep in mind is actually the basic landmarks that like we were sculpting. So I want to mask out the little mask around the face to create edge loops around her eye socket. I have a little bit of fur because I think some of you might have furry characters. So with fur, usually you want to maybe simplify it a bit more than if you were building a head of hair because fur usually covers larger surfaces. So it's very important to create your block out for your hair masses and where you want them. Begin by sculpting the overall shape as a single mass or layer and follow the body's form and focus on which specific areas you want to highlight for your character. Separate your fur into stylized clumps or tufts of hair, like they did for this guy, for example. And he's very stylized, but I kind of like it. I feel like where they chose, I don't know who this artist is. I found this on Google. The way that this artist chose to do certain clumps, like there was thought about this. There was thought on directionality and placement. They didn't just randomly apply tufts, and that's why it looks good. They're like, okay, here in this mess here, the hair is flowing down and is flowing in different directions, and it gets a little bit longer right here. The way that it flows around the big muscle over here, it kind of parts away as like his muscle comes forward. The tuft around the eyes, circling this mane over here. If you look at my cat, like her hair kind of like does that too, right? And then like the line of stuff up here, like they really put thought into that. And then if I want to, you don't have to do this, but if you want to create like more definition at this point, you can go ahead and start with clay buildup. Start kind of like defining where your primary chunks or clumps are going to be. So obviously I pulled that out. That's going to go there. I'm drawing that there. Think about the directionality of the hair. If your hair is straight, if your hair is curly, I'm grabbing another big chunk here and kind of like painting that out. I'm like, okay, this feels, and I really like clay buildup because it naturally gives you those edges that look like hair, right? And then you can tuck in a little bit. You're like, okay, maybe less there. Maybe we want a big chunk here and a little less there. In a production environment, if you're working with a game that reuses models, which a lot of them do, like let's say I guess if you're working on God of War, right, and you're making Kratos, like nothing else uses what Kratos has. He's like the main character. The character artists probably took like 3 to 4 months to make it, right? And that is going to have a very high level of detail. If you work in a game like Call of Duty or an MMO, you will actually build your ZBrush models without any of that surface detail, because the pieces that you make, like pouches and, you know, fatigues and things like that, will be reused and retextured. So if you bake in your detail into the normal map, in your like high like resolution sculpt, you're basically locking it to that look. So what you do is you export it out, you bake it, and then you use detail maps to get in your detail that will say, okay, this jacket is leather. But now we're going to use the same model for this jacket, and instead of using a detail normal that's leather, we're going to use a detail normal that is denim weave. So now you have a denim jacket, and you just change the texture. When I feel like my volume is lacking, I just like go in there very aggressively with like the clay buildup brush, and I will draw the musculature so I know where it is. Yes, I'm going to like erase it later. Obviously, this is not the finished product, but now my sculpt feels much more intentional. It has the volume where it needs, and it looks correct. So doing these things will help you. You can always take them away, but if you start without this foundation, like you're gonna find yourself lacking structure. So this is my normal map. This is what it looks like. This looks fine because it used the default settings where we set to bake by mesh name. World space normal, this is what it looks like. Again, this is not something you really have to worry about. This is something that the Substance kind of uses. IDs, here's my ID maps. And if we go through different texture set lists, you will see that I can easily like select the masks that I want to assign the colors that I want to the certain areas. I believe if you hit Control Alt, right click, you can go between your different like parts. Okay, then what else do we have here? Ambient occlusion is right here. So let's take a look at the boots. So the boots and the lower body part right here. No, this is the body. I'm sorry. Yeah. This part here has a lot of like mesh like overcasting on each other. And this is what happens when you just kind of like bake it without separating it. Curvature, you will also see the same, like all these lines. This is all bad. This is all dirty. You don't want any of that. Position is fine. It really only cares where the character is sitting. It'll give you like a gradient. It just usually works for like, there is like materials and such in Substance that will add like a layer of snow or a layer of dust or things like that. So it kind of wants to know like what like its top is bottom, and then when you like run it procedurally, it'll like add more at the top and like less at the bottom. Or definitely, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see what you guys do. It's gonna be awesome, and we'll get through it together. I'm gonna get through it too with the interface and the classroom thing, but we got it. So I'm excited for tomorrow.